Look at yourself. Yes, you. Aren't you tired of the humdrum, the normal, the day-to-day? What if I told you there was a place you could go where all your dreams would come true? A place where if someone was in your spot, you could just have 2 baskets and step in their spot as well. There would be no restrictions on where you could go, where you could work, what you could gather. What if I told you there was a place with 2 seasons, not just one, in which you could do different things in each season? Think about that. In the fall, you could do something. In the winter, you could do something. In the spring, you could do something. What if I told you such a place existed? Well, I'm here to tell you that such a place does exist. The wonderful land called Viticulture. Yes, Viticulture. The land of glass beads and whites and reds and blushes. There's a cat back there. All these different things are yours to take control of. The question is, are you ready to take control of your destiny? Well, then for a measly $14.99 a month, you could take advantage of your dreams. Are you ready? Are you ready to be the best farmer you can be and have visitors show up randomly who do great things for you and potentially give you money, or that one visitor who hurts your opponents? Well, then let's do this. The lush fields here. These are not grapes, but they're going to represent grapes. They're actually azaleas because I don't have any grapes around us. The point of viticulture is to take your farm, winery, and be the best. Have the most points at the end. Just like life, they compete for real points in life. Those points just happen to be money. And ironically, money is not points in this game. Points are points and points are not money. Unlike Scythe, which ironically, points are money. In the game that you would think that money and point, it doesn't matter, that's unrelated. Scythe is not the game we're talking about. Viticulture is a game in which you will do different worker actions, much like any other worker placement game, but it's broken into 2 seasons. You have your spring season and your fall season. That's wrong. You have your summer season and your winter season. You can only do certain actions in summer, and you can only do certain actions in fall. The interesting thing is, though, if you run out of workers in summer, you have none left to place in winter, and you have to wait till the entire next round comes around. I love that. I think that's a brilliant idea. Now, another great mechanic I really love is this idea of waking up, determining what time you want to wake up, because you can choose what time you want to wake up. Now, this is not the first time I've encountered this mechanic. The first time I saw it was an Alchemist. Now, I just know instantly when I say that the first time I encountered this was another game, someone's going to go, oh, what an idiot. He didn't know it was in 1827 railroads of Rome. I don't know. I don't know about all this stuff. All I know is this. You choose when you want to have your turn, which I think is a pretty smart idea because it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, I really need to get another action this turn. But there's benefits. If you choose to go later in the turn, well, there's a benefit to that. You can choose to, well, that's a big dog over there. You can choose to get another extra worker for that turn if you choose to go a little bit later.
No, I don't know a lot about wine, but I do know that there is a parallel with board games. There's a lot of choices. There's so many different types that you could choose from. You know, your Pinot Noirs, your Pinot Grigios. All of this I learned from this game. But just like in board game culture, there's a lot of choices. First of all, we're talking mechanics. You say, well, I want to play worker placement. Okay, so what do you want to play? Lords of Waterdeep? Do you want to play Caverna? Do you want to play Le Havre? Do you want to play this, and on and on? So yeah, I want to play worker placement that has great meeples. Ah, okay, we're narrowing it down. Probably a Rosenberg game then, right? No, I'm feeling more something that has a feel to it. Almost of an app. Hear me out. I don't mean it's app driven. I mean the way that apps are constantly updated to be tweaked and made better by the designers. That's what goes into a Stonemaier game. If you've watched my Scythe review, you heard me say Stonemaier doesn't make bad games. This was kind of the out of the gate hit. Viticulture. Now this is the Essential Edition, not the original edition, but the Essential Edition added so many tweaks and perks and things like that that just changed the game completely for how you play, and it makes it my favorite worker placement, period. Inside of here is great because it comes with this wonderful rules reference and instructions. The good thing about it is they want you to ask questions. If you have a question about Stonemaier Games, they will pretty much answer you back on Twitter almost instantly. But here's the other thing that sold me on this game. Look at this. Wooden meeples in different shapes. You can't go wrong. Look, there's a little bit of a yoke. I'm not even sure what a yoke is, but It's inside of an egg, but small warehouse thing. Little worker with a hat, like an Italian guy. You know, it's typical. Table, like this one. Little wine bottle. A grande worker. He's a big worker with 2 baskets, so you know he means business. This is a trellis. Look at this, a chicken. A chicken. You know what the chicken does? No, the chicken doesn't part of the farming or anything like that. The chicken is what determines your turn order. That's the kind of thought that went into this game. Every bit of it is pretty from the outside to the inside. Let's look at the inside right now and find out what makes this game tick. Inside of this really wonderfully sized box are player boards, your own player boards, for instance. Check this out. All the different buildings you can build. Now, what you notice, there's not a big square that says place this here. It's just in the art. This is a windmill. This is the where your table goes for your tasting room. This is an ox cart or being pulled, which is a yoke and all that kind of stuff, or the thing you put wine on. This is your irrigation system. These are your storehouses, your cellars. It's where your grapes go. All these different things. They're just on the board in wonderful art. It's not like a big thing that says place this here. You can kind of put it where you want to in this general area because it's almost what is the word? It's almost impressionistic, and this is not quite impressionistic. A little bit of realism to the picture, but it just has that artsy feel. Call me pretentious, I don't care, but it makes it feel like such a good game. Just from that, everybody gets a player board, and if you notice on the player board, it actually has the color of who you're supposed to be playing as. Did not notice that several times when I played it the first couple times. Back of the board is in German because das ist gut. That was German. Here's the actual board. Let's take a look at it real quick. I'll put it out here. What I do like is it's a quad fold with a very small size to it. So back side is German, front side is English, and that's it. This is the board. I'm almost positive this is all the way in frame here because I'm not even looking at the frame, but this is the board. So your different card slots, your grape cards go here. Each has a discard slot. Your summer visitors go here. Your wine order cards go here, and your winter visitors go here. The action, look at it's a piece of art. You could hang this picture up on your wall and say, hey, this is Tuscany wine country. This is what it looks like. Well, here's your player track. This is when you go. If you decide, hey, I'm going to put my chicken up here, you get no bonus. If you go down here and you decide you're going definitely last, you'll get the bonus of the extra worker, which is great in a worker placement game, having any extra actions. This one's a free bonus point. This one gets you one of the visitor cards. This one's a money, wine order card, or a grape card. So you can kind of choose how you want to go based on what you need that turn. Then you take your workers. You'll have them sitting over here in your available worker section. That's probably the only thing that's like a put this here type thing in the game is this right here. So you'll take your available workers, and during the fall or summer session, you'll say, I need to draw some grape cards. Take a grape card. If you put it here on this circle, you get the bonus that's associated with it. If you're playing a 2-player game, it tells you over here, you do not get the bonus. You only get the left to right. So as you're playing 3 to 4 players, you use 2 of these circles. See? As you're playing a 5 or 6 person game, you use all 3 circles. The first person to go here, though, gets the bonus. So this one, when you would draw a card for the action. The bonus would be draw an extra card. For instance, this would be play a card, you play an extra card. Gain money, gain 2 money, lira, gain an extra lira there. Sell the grape field, gain a victory point. Here's the cool thing, your grande worker, he didn't care. He didn't care if anybody's there. It's not no worker placement game where a grande worker can't get in there. A grande worker does what a grande worker wants. That's important to remember. So the grande worker says, oh, you want to sell some grapes? Oh, you want to draw some cards? So do I. Bang, I'm going to get up in there too. Now, I don't remember. Somebody can check me on the rules on this. I feel kind of bad since I'm supposed to be looking this up real quick and pausing the video and coming back, but I'm not going to. I cannot remember if the grande worker gets the bonus or not. I want to say yes, the grande worker does in fact get the bonus too, because the rule is you can put the grande worker in any circle. Now, there's a friendly variant where if you can't take this extra bonus or you don't want to take the extra bonus, that you have to go here and leave the space open. I find that funny, but that's in there. I think it's called the friendly variant, which is awesome. You pass over to winter. Once you pass, you say, okay, I'm done for my summer actions. You'll pass. When everybody passes, move their chickens to the other side of the board, which is very thematic if you think about it. You'll either take a winter or summer visitor card, add it to your hand. There's a hand limit of 7. Mentions that over here. All the rules are over here. spring, summer, fall, winter. Totally different in Tuscany. The Tuscany board is a different board. Victory points go down here, I should mention that. You'll then say, okay, I have 1 worker left or 2 workers left for winter. You'll start placing winter actions. So the actions for summer are play a card, a yellow visitor card, summer visitor card, draw a grape card, sell at least 1 grape or sell 1 field. That's important. If you strap for cash, you can sell 1 of your fields off this board. You have 3 boards here, 3 fields, 1, 2, 3. They can only ever have the amount listed, so you can only have grapes valued up to 5, up to 6, up to 7. This isn't really a how to play video, but you can kind of see that when you see the cards. Get money, build a structure. Your structures are these different things like your trellis, like your irrigation, your windmill, your cottage, your different cellar sizes. All those are your different structures. Plant a field. When you plant a grape field, you'll take one of the grape cards and you'll just plop it out here, like that. So now this field produces a 2 white wine. Or I'm sorry, produces 2 white grapes. Here's the interesting thing about the Trebbiano or about any of these things, because it's thematic to grapes and not like wheat. And if you played Caverna if you played Caverna or Agricola, when you harvest, you cut it off and you run out, because it's basically acting like the field is done, You don't keep harvesting something. Grapes are not like that in real life. You keep harvesting off the same vine, the same vines in some of the most famous wineries in the world. I learned this from that documentary, by the way, that I'm going to tell you about in Final Thoughts. Have been there for hundreds of years. So when you harvest grapes, which is the action over here in the winter, you don't discard this card. You just leave it. And you take your little bead, put it on 2 white, because that's what you have. And these beads are really awesome. They magnify kind of what the number is. They just look really pretty. That's what this game's about. And you would not discard this. So let's say if you wanted to do that action again, you take your grande worker, slap him out there, you can harvest that exact same grape vine over and over again, as long as you have the actions and the space to do it over here. Because it's a grape, not wheat. That's an interesting mechanic. So that's the plant a field thing, action there. Let me come back to the main board. So plant all this. Now let's go to winter actions. Draw a purple card. These are your wine orders. These would be things like this. So you need to be able to sell 5 red wine. Now 5 means this. Like I said, when you planted that grape, it became a 2 because that's the number. Every year your grapes will age, right? In order to turn it into a wine, you have to take the action over here, which is harvest. Harvest field is what gets the grapes from up here to down here. Make up to 2 wine tokens says, okay, I have a 3 white, boom, I'm gonna move over here to a 3 white wine instead of a white grape. That's it, that's what you do. A couple little tedious things here. To get a blush wine, you have to have a white and a red. To get a sparkling wine, you have to have a white and 2 reds. But you cannot have any of this bigger stuff. You can't age the grapes into here until you have a medium and large cellar. So it kind of forces you to build those structures. So make up to 2 wines, fill an order. So you would say, okay, I have 5 red, I'm gonna sell it. You pull the bead off the board. In this case, you do sell because it's a limited quantity. It's not like a grape vine, it's an actual bottle of wine. You sell that wine. And then you get 2 victory points as shown on the card, and you get your residuals down here. So your little wine bottle starts down here in the residual section. What that means is every year you'll gain 1 lira if it's here. If it's here, you get nothing. If it's here, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So it just means you're producing income by people buying your wine. Thematic is what that means. So you get a mama and a papa. So you would take, let's say you get Stephen or Stefan and Deanne. You take these cards, you put them together, it forms a beautiful little locket of your parents, because Italians are very family oriented, this game shows you. You'll start with 2 workers in one of each of these cards, and you'll get a grande worker and 4 lira, and you can get your irrigation or 2 lira. So it gives you a choice on how to start the game. It varies up everybody's starting abilities or whatever. It's not anything that makes it unbalanced. I'm sure there's some forum on Board Game Geek about, or a thread about how it's unbalanced this way or that, but those are the actions. You go here to fill an order, make the tokens, play a visitor card, and that's it. First person to hit 20 signals the end of the game, and then you just keep going by, playing one last round and get the most points. So that's Viticulture. In a nutshell, it is a worker placement game in which you are selling wine, period. But it's more than that. This game is so good that I spent an entire night watching a documentary on how wine is made because of this game. I just wanted to know because this game piqued my interest. It's so fascinating, the process behind it. And seeing the art, seeing how everything comes together from the mechanics to the art to everything, make this worker placement one that just bleeds theme. No, you're not actually getting your hands dirty chopping grapes off a vine, but for some reason you feel like you're in old world Tuscany, just walking among the grape vines. And you feel it. You feel that theme is there. It just grips you. Every bit of it is so good, from the art to the board, from the mechanics and how you play, the summer, the winter thing, and even in Tuscany, there's 4 seasons, so it gets better. To the fact that they went all out and made these little wooden meeple windmills and things like that, also from Scythe. It just makes it so much better when there's just tangible little bits that you can get your fingers on and just feel as you're playing the game, and that represent what's going on in your game. Plus, another very big plus, own player boards. Any game that gives me my own player board is going to be a win for me, almost guaranteed. Scythe does this, Caverna does this, Viticulture does this. Anything in which I have my own board and can do things on my own board. And in fact, if you build the yoke, you get your own action on your own board, which is pretty awesome. I love having my own board, do my own thing, and I can build it different ways and put my buildings on it, all that kind of stuff. Having your own board is a great concept too. So from the art, the size of the box is nice, first of all. It's not even that big. The art, the mechanics, the board, the player board, the point system, the money, it's just, everything is nice. It's a game that you feel happy to pull out and show people and say, hey, check this game out. This is a little bit more refined, if you will. It's kind of got a more cultured feel to it. But that's Viticulture. Should you get this game? Do you like worker placements? Yes. Do you not like worker placements? Yes. Do you like games? Yes. Do you not like games? Okay, that may be a tough sell. Viticulture is a game that you will enjoy, period. Now, if you're a war gamer who's like, I only like Paths of Glory, the hard mode, maybe not. Although Italy is in Paths of Glory, so clearly you would like Viticulture. Clearly, I can't choose the wine in front of me. Viticulture is a game that you need to try. You need to play it. If you like mechanics and you like art and you like how it all mixes together, this is one of those games. And Stonemaier is perfect about this. Jamie and Alan are just incredible about making games that feel good to play. When you got Scythe, you know you're going to experience something special. When you play Viticulture, it's the same thing. I literally bought this based on what I knew about Scythe. I had not even played Scythe yet. And side note, it lived up to the hype. So check out my review for Scythe. At the end of this video, I'll put a link, but you can check out the review for it. It lived up to its hype. What I learned about Scythe in the meantime made me pick this game up because I'd heard about it. I love Rosenberg's games, and so I knew that they were somewhat related with the whole Visitors from the Moor expansion. So I know maybe they were kindred spirits and all that kind of stuff. And I was not disappointed. It also plays solo. If you want to play the game solo, you can try it. And I read the rules for the Otama. I still don't know the pronunciation of that. It seems like it's something that's pretty easy to figure out. It's not something that'd be a pain in the butt to try to, like, you know, force a solo game it is. Now, Scythe, I don't know. It seems a little bit trickier, but this one, it kind of makes sense. It's almost like a beat the clock method. Like Caverna has this, Le Havre has this. Not a beat the clock, but beat the score number. So check out Viticulture. You're going to like it. You're not going to be disappointed.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.